Okay, we are live.
Yay!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Enneapreneur. This is my live weekly broadcast that I do where I do trainings, talk a lot about the sales and Enneagram and building out a sales process for your business. And actually, this month, throughout the entire month of May, and then hopefully into June, I each week am going to be interviewing different women entrepreneurs that are providing services or products in different industries. And today I have the privilege of interviewing my friend Natasha. We met, I think we met through Facebook originally. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay, you guys, the power of social media. I mean, I'm super active on LinkedIn. But even on Facebook and Instagram, I have met some of the most amazing people. And so I am really thankful that we have met and that we have gotten to connect. And so I wanted to introduce Natasha today. And would you please just tell us a little bit about who you are, who you help, what you do, what your zone of genius is, and also why you chose your business as the place where you were going to actually choose to make money?
Yes. Okay. I'm wondering if I should flip it and start with maybe the why. So
Yes.
I originally was working I feel like it's a similar story, but I love it because I'm connecting with people that I originally was in a corporate position and I'm for an amazing company, loved who I worked with. It was great. But I started doing a lot of research in terms of mainly working from home was originally how it started. And this was pre-2020. So wasn't as popular of a thing, but I started doing research for the teams that I was managing to see if it would be a viable option. And the more and more I was reading about not just work from home, but maybe even work less hours a week or work styles, it became really apparent to me that there was this whole other world where you could work in your strengths versus kind of working in a system. So that kind of led me to being okay, I'm going to go down my own path and see what there is. And I definitely had the skills of organization, team leadership, organization, automation. So I took that and became an OBM, so an online business manager, and really just helping people that were starting out in their business get things organized, running, taking that corporate background, and running with that. And that led me to doing a lot of the organization around their marketing and sales. And what I was finding was for a lot of these women-owned businesses that I was working with, more of the creative spaces, when it came to that marketing side of things, there was just a disconnect in terms of not loving the options out there or how things were being presented and all of that. And so that led me down kind of that path of, well, I want to connect those two because I know marketing and sales are the, heart of a business actually succeeding.
Yeah.
So how can they bridge that? And so that led me into email marketing specifically. So that is what I do now. I love helping coaches and service providers with their email marketing and automation. And my strengths are really where I think I shine is just being able to organize pieces in a way that I feel like makes sense to people that were so resistant to it previously.
Yes. Okay, talk to me about that because I will tell you that with clients I work with or have worked with and women in my network, my audience, I get more resistance to email. They're like, I don't want to start an email list because people get bothered by emails and I don't open my emails and it feels really salesy and who's going to read them? So what would you say to the woman who is a small business owner starting off in her first 1 to 3 years of business? Why does she need an email list?
Yes. So if I have a whole bunch of time and time to prep for this meeting, I'm probably going to bring some data with me and some charts to show that despite that perception, because I completely understand it, emails are being seen and people are in their inbox and there are sales and conversions happening in that inbox. So first of all, it is a misconception, but it is happening. But second, if I can't bring the data and the charts and we're just having a heart to heart, what I will say is it is such a fantastic way to actually get to connect to your audience in a way that they're actually going to regularly see and hear from you. And I always compare it to social media. And it's not because I think you should be doing one or the other. We need to be on social media or some type of lead generation. We absolutely have to be doing that. But at the end of the day, you're, at the whim of an algorithm, whether or not it's even going to show your post in someone's feed. So that doesn't mean, does your email land in their inbox? For the most part, as long as you're doing it right, it does. this means your email's pretty much never landing in anyone's inbox when it comes to social media. So actually getting in front of eyes, as well as the idea of what you can do to have a good email. So to have decent email open rates, to have conversions, stays fairly consistent in emails, like we're really going for non-spam, we're really going for value, all of these things. Whereas again, when it comes to social media, what you need to do can change at any given time and day and depending on the platform. So it's just a little more chaotic there. So I'd say the consistency and actually being able to reach your audience is so key with emails. And then as far as just getting started, so I was actually just talking about this, I think yesterday or the day before, because someone had asked this question on one of my TikTok videos, and I realized I've been talking about this. Like when you're just starting out, even if you're not ready to send an email, you don't know what you're going to say, whatever it might be, you can definitely start collecting emails. And like this can be so simplistic.
Yeah.
Google Sheet that you're adding things to, that's totally fine. But if you're meeting people, if you're out here having, discovery calls or meeting people in person, whatever it might be, start collecting those emails. Like when you get ready to send, you're going to need to do some things to make sure they opt in,
Yes.
all of that. But like you can absolutely start collecting emails from day one of your business with no clue of what you're going to say.
Yes, absolutely. What are your favorite ways to collect emails?
I will always do a lead magnet of some type. I think every business should have some type. And I think sometimes we get bogged down in like, it has to look a certain way, or, this person sent a PDF and I don't have a PDF. It doesn't matter. There's all kinds of different lead magnets. And I love helping different businesses find one that works for theirs. So always that. And the second, I would say businesses that do a lot of calls. So I do a ton of calls because a lot of my work, while I do overarching same things for all businesses, it's very customized because I need to know what does your business specifically need. So I'm on a ton of calls, and those are all opted in, and they agree to it and there's consent. But I love that because if someone has access to you in a one-on-one manner, then they should definitely have a way of getting like regularly updated from you.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I was actually having a similar conversation this week with someone. I can't even remember who it was. I can't even remember, but we were talking about how, they were wanting to have their email system set up first before collecting emails. And I'm like, no, like you need to get emails. No one is sitting around like, okay, I'm waiting for that first email. But when you do have your system set up, then you at least have someone to send it to instead of having a system set up, but there's nobody to actually start sending emails to. That's so good. Can you share a little bit? And the reason I'm asking you this is because I love watching your videos, and I'm going to encourage, if you are watching this, go follow Natasha. We are streaming into Facebook, LinkedIn, and onto YouTube. And I know for sure that you are on LinkedIn and on Facebook. I don't know if you have a YouTube account, but I want to make sure I tag you in all the places. But tell me a little bit about what you do for your clients with their customer maps. I think that this is genius.
Yes, I've recently started introducing these over the last few months, and to see customers' faces when they like finally see the big picture and they're like, oh, okay, they still don't want to, implement it themselves, but they're like, I get what we're doing here, has been amazing. So these are something that I create in Miro, any type of mapping platform works, but it's essentially saying the moment a contact enters your ecosystem, so they are actually on your list in some way, what are they seeing and hearing from you? Because often what I find is, and I can't remember if we were having this conversation about like the spectrum of clients where it's either, I maybe at best send a newsletter every now and then, but probably nothing. Or I sent 5 emails today about this launch I'm doing. And it's like, whoa. And I think what happens is we just don't have a big picture of what we're doing and why. And so I map this out saying the moment they come in from a lead magnet, from an ad, from a discovery call, what are they hearing from you? Because they need to be hearing from you right away for a specific reason. So we're getting them the information, the next step they could be taking, whatever it is. And based on how they're coming in, that's going to affect what type of information we want to send them over the lifetime of that contact. So usually mapping out somewhere in between 6 months to a year. And not to say that that's the entire lifetime, but that's, kind of our cycle. To saying, okay, what are we sending them in this welcome? What are we sending them in a couple months if they haven't taken the action we want them to take? if they have taken the action, what are we sending them? So just really showing the whole timeline of how a contact will be messaged. And more importantly, which is my favorite part, why? So instead of just
Yes.
let's send a sales series here just because it would be fun, it's
Yeah.
like, no, it's been X amount of time. We've, made sure that we've been giving a lot of value over the last few months via like a newsletter. Maybe
Yeah.
there was a period where we weren't sending as many emails, so we made sure to like retarget them via a Facebook ad, whatever it might be.
Yes.
We know why we are messaging the contact
Yes.
and what type of messaging we're sending them. So these have been incredibly powerful, and I just absolutely love doing them.
That is so amazing. Yeah. And I think that this is something that a lot of business owners who, especially new business owners, don't realize is, we're kind of inundated with all these different strategies for selling and for marketing. And a lot of times we're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to see what's going to stick. But really, it's like you are the driver, you are the guide, you are the one who is leading your potential customer, your potential client on a journey. And you have to, like, they may not know where they're being led yet, but you have to know what's next. When are you going to, like, what kind of calls to action are you going to give them? How, like, what action do you want them to take? What do you want them to do? And one of the things that I feel like this occurred to me in the past year, I have realized that I have assumed that people intuitively know what to do when they are a part of my ecosystem. And that is not true because we are so distracted.
Yeah.
We are in information overload that literally anyone who is in your ecosystem needs to be spoon-fed the next steps of what to do. It's like, go down 2 inches and click on this link, like very specific next steps. And people, it takes away decision fatigue. It takes away it reduces the amount of energy they have to spend trying to figure out, how do I work with this person, or how do I download this, freebie or whatever it is. You want to make it as easy and as accessible as possible, as if a kindergartner could explain to you what you just told them to do.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought up like decision fatigue, because I think that's such a huge
Yes.
thing that it's getting talked about more and more, which is fantastic, but we do have to think about it in terms of our audience. It's like, we have to spoon feed, but it's because they just have so much going on. And we know that personally because we have so much going on.
Yes.
So how can we make it as clear as possible? And I also like something you said in there about, being inundated with so many different sales and marketing strategies. And I found that's what mapping helps with as well, because when you have this laid out and someone comes to you maybe from the Facebook ad sides of things, and they're like, okay, we need to do this strategy, it makes it so much easier to layer that on top and go, okay, great. Yeah, there are some, gaps here, which would be great to retarget during this time, or to like layer it on and go, but wait, I'm talking to them for 6 months over here about this CPA. And then all of a sudden we're going to retarget with an ad, and it doesn't make sense. And so like, you want to actually see, does this make sense with my big strategy?
Yes, absolutely. Another question I would love for you to speak to, because I know for a fact, I'm thinking of women in my audience right now. So the idea of a weekly newsletter is pretty typical for business owners. Like, they're sending out, they're providing value to whatever their niche is, and just having that consistency. What are your thoughts as an expert in this area on length of newsletter? Like, shorter, longer? Should it be the same format each time? What are your thoughts about that? I know I'm totally putting you on the spot.
No, it's a good question. I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to a TikTok later. So I would say a few things. One, the biggest thing is consistency in terms of how you're presenting the information, design, all of that. And it's because that's going to layer in your audience's mind of like, oh, I know this is Jody. I know this is Jody's style, and if they're sticking around, then that's probably because they like what you're doing. So you want to kind of keep doing that to some degree. So I'd say the biggest thing is consistency. However, if I were to give some tips, I would say keep it on the shorter-ish end. And I know that can be subjective, kind of depending on what your thoughts are in short. But I would say people are in their inbox, like we said, there's a lot going on in the inbox, very few like emails not necessarily getting open. So part of how you can ensure that yours continue to get open is that someone knows they can kind of almost quickly get some value out of it, or they at least quickly understand what they're reading and if they want to continue. The thing I
Yeah.
would always encourage my clients to do is if for whatever reason this is something lengthy, maybe it's a personal story and they don't want to have to cut things out because it's like really powerful to tell the whole thing. Is I would start to tell it and then give a read more and have that posted as like either a blog or a gated piece of content or something where it takes them to your website. Because I do think that gives people the option of like, okay, I still know that they are keeping this linked in their emails and they're being mindful of my time. But if I want to continue this journey, there's a really easy way for me to do that.
Ooh, I love that idea. I love that idea. And then you can track who is clicking the read more and
Exactly.
actually going over, okay, yeah, those are your super fans there. That's incredible. Okay, what tell me any other thoughts that you have about email marketing? Like what if you could give um, you know, three key pieces of advice to a new business owner who has a small audience who wants to use email marketing, or they're not sure they want to use email marketing but they're kind of considering it. What pieces of advice would you give this new business owner?
Yeah. So as we talked about earlier, it definitely would be collecting emails right away, regardless if
Yeah.
you're planning on emailing. So just start doing that. If you decide never to email, then you have a whole list, but start
Yes.
doing that. Two would be when you are ready to start putting something out there, is concentrating on what is feasible for you in
Yeah.
consistency. Like you said, the norm is once a week, and that is great.
Yeah.
However, if it's just you don't have a team, whatever it might be, and once a month is all you have in you right now, stick to once a month. Just make it consistent. So find whatever that consistency is to you. And then note that when it comes to sales and marketing or conversions, what I find is when people do start off in emails, they're like, okay, well, I've been sending a newsletter every week and I'm getting nothing, sales and
Yeah.
conversions. And the thing is when we actually see sales and conversions, it's when we're layering on that sales and mapping strategy. So a newsletter every week more than likely isn't going to lead to much. It might lead to something, especially if you're, including a CTA in there for them to
Yeah.
buy. But overall, when you're looking at those conversion rates of, I think the ROI for email is around $36 to $42 for every dollar spent. You get
Yeah.
to numbers when you are emailing more and with
Yes.
the purpose of selling. So just know that if you're just starting out and you're not seeing those numbers, you shouldn't expect to right now. Your
Yes.
focus is nurturing your audience. And
Mhm.
when you have either the time yourself or the means to hire or your team, whatever it might be, that's when you'll want to start layering on those sales drips, the conversion, all of that.
Yeah.
That's when you'll focus on actually seeing those numbers.
Yes. And women entrepreneurs can literally cut a lot of this work out by checking out your services, correct?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, no, so I do two main things, although if there's anything with email and automation, let's talk. We'll probably customize something. But the
Yes.
two main things I do are if you're just starting out in terms of emails, then I do a whole jump start that includes setting up your CRM, ESP, so something like an Active Campaign or a MailChimp. Active Campaign, MailChimp, setting that up, doing a lead magnet, helping you create that, as well as getting a whole welcome drip in place. So that's kind of your jump start. The other thing I do, which is geared a little bit more toward people, maybe they're already been doing emails for a while, maybe not as much, but they definitely have these different marketing arms
Yeah.
and different things they're doing, and they're not really sure what's connecting. And that's when I come in and do these strategy maps. So I like lay it all out and connect it and give guidance on messaging as well. So two main things. And if you're interested in either of those, definitely let's talk. The other thing I would say, especially for people that are just starting out in emails, is that on my website, I do have a workshop on list building. So
Ooh.
start on list building and a little bit about lead magnets. So I definitely check that out.
Yes, that is so great. And what outcomes do your clients get? How do you change their lives?
Yeah, I would say so. It's so interesting because think that a lot come for is the conversions. And so we do
Yeah.
see, conversions and more sales because we're getting a system and all that in place. But I would say they're most excited about in the end, and they didn't realize was the relief of things being automated and off
Yeah.
their plate. Because pre-me coming, like even like if they know how to automate some pieces and they do like maybe newsletters going out, they don't recognize how much more could be automated in the whole process
Right.
and getting people on the team that can take care of it. I'm really, I usually take over working with a copywriter, even working in maybe their project management system. So literally all they have to do is come and be like, oh, I have this idea, or maybe they don't even have ideas anymore. They're just like, here's my overarching, like what I want to happen. Can this just be taken care of? And
Yes.
so I've had so many in their testimonials just be like, I've been trying to do this for months or years and it's been going to the wayside, and you took care of it in less than a month, and now it's all automated. Like,
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
so thankful it's done.
So you can literally make sales in your sleep.
Yes, yeah. Sales, connecting, you can have things, like things like your calls, making sure that people get the information they need for calls that they've booked with you automatically. Like
Right.
you're not going back and forth, just the automation piece of it, and so much just being done, I think is the big thing that clients love.
That is incredible. And go follow Natasha also to listen to her videos. They are amazing. I love listening to them. I learn something every time she does. She communicates really well and very concisely and takes really complex sales and marketing concepts and communicates them in a very digestible way to those that maybe are just starting out and are like, I don't know what a CRM means. I don't know what automation means. I don't know. I feel like this is your strength in communication, is being able to take really complex concepts and make them very digestible to like the common folk.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you. I really enjoy doing those videos because it's just so much of we just don't know what we don't know. And so I want us all to know more.
Yes. Well, okay. So tell everyone where they can find you. And you want to follow Natasha for all your email marketing needs.
Yeah. So as mentioned, I am on LinkedIn and Facebook at Natasha Yankoff, and then Instagram and TikTok at Soxomu. So that's the name of the business that I run. And I'll have to put that in the comments somewhere, but that's SOCSOMU. And I'd say, yeah, TikTok and LinkedIn are where I do the most.
Awesome. That is so great. And if someone wants to take advantage of that free workshop that you have, it's on your website?
Yeah. So soxomu.com. I think you just go /free things. You'll actually find a whole bunch of stuff there, but soxomu.com for sure.
That is so great. Natasha, you are such a gem. I love talking to you. I love being connected to you. I love your content. And I really hope that you go follow her and can really learn and benefit from her brilliance.
Thank you so much. This was absolutely fantastic. I love talking about emails, so I appreciate the
Well, I am a complete nerd when it comes to stuff like this. I mean, I feel like I'm still on my own learning curve, but it is such a game changer for entrepreneurs. Like every entrepreneur, you need an email list first thing out of the gate, like first thing you need to do.
Yes.
So fun to talk about this. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. And yeah, we will be sure to link all of your links in the comments section on Facebook and LinkedIn, so you're easy to find. And I want to have you back.
Yes, anytime.
We'll schedule another time.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, Natasha. Have a great day.